your hands together one more time. I almost feel like I have to purposefully speak in a monotone manner just to make sure that what was said isn't true, but I can't even do it if I wanted to. Good morning. Yeah. So how's everybody doing? Good morning. How's everybody doing? Great. Okay, so we're going to start out. First of all, raise your hand if by chance you didn't hear any of last week's message. Okay, so a couple of you didn't hear my message last week. Okay, so just as a quick little snippet, we talked about yin-yang balance. There is no and between, and I'm segueing into today from there. Also, if you remember, I took you with me to an appointment with the urologist when I got diagnosed with cancer. Like, okay, I took you there. So for those who weren't there, I got diagnosed with cancer way back. I took everybody to the exam. Okay, so now we're here today, right? Okay.
Yeah.
In reference to this, bring to your mind, because this is an audience participation section of the show, bring to your mind some of the emotions and feelings that are unpleasant, and that if we could enjoy life for the rest of life without ever having to deal with these emotions and feelings, what would they be? Fear, anxiety, a little bit louder. Worry less than. Shame. Anger. Two more. Sadness. Frustration. Okay, one more. Trauma. Okay, we'll go with there. And grief. Throw that in there too, because yesterday was the anniversary of my mom's transition in 2020. So I'm right there with you on grief. It's like you wake up in the morning, you have no idea that I woke up on a surfboard. Oh, we're doing this today. Okay, we're surfing. You never know. Now, oftentimes within New Thought, we vilify those feelings. Like I've meditated and I've taken classes and I've done all the things and I've prayed and I've met with the prayer chaplain and I've done all the work. Come on now, I've memorized the words of Charles Fillmore when he said, I fairly sizzle with I've memorized it. Why am I still feeling this stuff? And we lump blame and shame and stuff upon ourselves because we somehow think that once we reach whatever we're calling enlightenment for the day, once we reach that point of, I've arrived, I'm not supposed to feel sadness anymore, I'm not supposed to feel fear anymore, You ever heard this phrase, before enlightenment, enlightenment, after enlightenment? What changed? The same experiences before the awakening happen after the awakening. The difference is, after, because we have experienced this thing called enlightenment, after, we are now better equipped to navigate it. Meaning, grief in the past. So, I've experienced, by the time I was 18, I had been to at least 2,500 funerals, viewings, wakes, at least. That's a lot. By the time I was 5, I had already been to about 100. That's a lot. So I had a very disjointed, uncomfortable relationship with death. And then when I was 8 and my father was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, every single day I'm leaving the middle school and I would purposefully take the longest route home because I didn't want to be the first one home to find my dad dead. Because they said 2 to 4 years. So I would purposely take the longest possible route. All the way around the library, I'd sit there and read half a book, I'd go make a sandwich at the hoagie place, like I did anything at all just to give me time and space so that one of my brothers would get home first. Very uncomfortable relationship with grief. And then you get into New Thought, and I, like many other people, I got into this thinking, it's going to be a magic pill that says, take this. It's like Neo in the Matrix. Which pill do you want? One's going to wake you up, the other one puts you back to sleep. Give me wake me up. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. And then you experience the drag down, knockout fight and realize, oh, wait, something did change. That's not controlling me anymore. I'm able to both and. I'm able to experience the grief and joy. How's that possible? Because as we heard earlier, this element of being authentic. When we really step into being authentically ourselves, we are better able to deal with, navigate all of life's experiences. And none of it need be labeled as bad. Now, I am not implying, as some people say, that we have to suffer in order to learn, in order to grow, in order to evolve, and I'm not of that school. So, not saying that at all. I'm saying that when you surf, occasionally you're going to fall off the surfboard. When you roller skate, ice skate, occasionally you're going to get a bruise right there on the left cheek. It's inevitable because it's part of the experience. Earlier today, I was privy to sort of a conversation, had nothing to do with me, referencing the tuning of an instrument. Did the musician do anything wrong for the instrument to need to be tuned? No. Have you ever been to an orchestra or a Broadway show and the orchestra's in the pit? What do they always do before the show? Tune the instruments. The instruments, through use or disuse, will go out of tune as a natural process that the instrument experiences. Chad's nodding his head, so clearly I'm saying something that's accurate, right? So if I'm experiencing discordant piano, and I go to Dennis and say, "Where's the guitar?" So I tune it by turning these things. And he says, "But Ray, didn't you say you wanted to tune the piano?" "Yeah." "Get away from my guitar." There's nothing wrong with it. See, oftentimes we will segment and bypass rather than actually addressing what's going on. And in New Thought, we often refer to it as toxic positivity. You're not supposed to feel sad. You're not supposed to. You're not supposed to. Yes, you are. And that goes into today's message of the idea of when we fully embrace all of life's experiences and ask with clarity, what is this? Because oftentimes we feel grief. Because we don't like feeling grief, we give ourselves anger. Because anger, one, is culturally more acceptable. Two, it's easier for us to deal with. I'd rather burn with anger than whatever grief is causing me to feel. I know that firsthand, many times over. So the moment we can identify it, Ray, what's out of tune? The piano. You want to try that again? The piano. The piano. Oh, the piano. The moment we can identify it, then we can address whatever needs to be addressed. Because if we want to live our lives, and I mean live them bold, audacious, and out loud. Charles Fillmore said, I fairly sizzle with zeal and enthusiasm to do what is mine to do. I sizzle. If we are to step into that kind of life, that opportunity to truly live, then we have to be willing to navigate the unpleasant things as well. If I were to ask you, do you love God? You don't have to answer. But think to yourself, do I love God? God being all there is. That means the face you see, who's that? You are the face of God. The face you see in the mirror, God. Do you love that face? Because if you don't, then there's a part of you that says, I love God when God is this, but not when God is that face in the mirror, or that pain in the back, or that whatever it is that we are blaming and shaming ourselves for. If we're going to love God as self, love God as other, love God as all. Challenging? Yes. Very much so. Which is one reason why there's an avatar, that's what I'm calling him, a bodhisattva, by the name of Daryl Davis, who is a jazz musician who at some point in his career made it his life's mission to have conversations with members of the Klan, find common ground to the point where the Klansmen saw him as human, then as friend. And then the Klansmen, as a symbol of, yeah, I'm done with this, they relinquish their robes and whatnot to him, and he has created a museum of sorts of the number of robes and membership cards and certificates that he has received from people. I'm glad that he can do that work, because in all honesty, I can't. But that is the invitation. Where does that exist in my life now? Where is the someone or something that I don't want to talk to? Because I can't fully live as me as long as they're pulling the strings, whether they're in the room or not. I can't fully live out loud. I can't fully sizzle if someone over here is turning the burner back down to low. Then I'm barely just, it's like when you put bologna in the pan and you turn the heat up and eventually the bologna doesn't. You know what I'm saying? But you turn it in. Wait, y'all, you've never seen that happen before? I invite you to go home. Spiritual exercise today. Go buy some bologna, go plop it in the thing, turn on the heat, and just watch it. It gets a little bubble, and then it turns into a dome, and then anyhow. Let me know how it is next week. Just don't eat it. Anyhow, I can't fully be me as long as someone else is controlling my emotions. As long as someone else is controlling how I feel about me, and as long as someone else is controlling how I feel about them. If they're controlling how I feel about them, whoever them they be, then I am not in charge of me. So in order to truly live out loud, it starts here. Do I love myself? Do I honor myself? Do I respect myself? Do I care for myself? There's a practice in Japan where, whether it's a martial arts studio or certain other, like whether it's kabuki theater or whatnot, there's a practice where once the event has concluded, the students and instructor get together and they clean the entire space. They clean the dojo or the studio, and I mean, they get the rags and then back and then till it's spotless. Because the practice is, when we clean our space, we clean our space. That way, when we go out into the world, we are going out with a clean slate. We are going out with a mushin, no mind. We are going out with zen. We are going out with, and when we do that, then we are better able to face and address whatever may come. Our practice is, are we making sure that we are clear and clean? Or are we still carrying the baggage from, it was 1975. I walked out of the movie theater. That's when they ran up and knocked me down. I fell on my right elbow first, and I was kicked and I rolled over. Ray, what year is it now? 2025. Why are you still carrying, like Ebenezer Scrooge and Jacob Marley, why are you still carrying the chains and the locks and the from years and years and years ago? Why? And I tell you, Ebenezer Scrooge, that when I left, your chain was 3 times the length of mine now. Ooh, send them ghosts so I can get this over with then, because that's terrifying to carry the weight of past mistakes, past regrets. We cannot live in the present. We cannot drive forward. It's not possible. So now bring to your mind's eye, what are some of the emotions that you currently feel on any given day that you would love to feel more often? And when you are ready, share. Joy. Love. Peace. Gratitude.
Sizzle.
Laughter. Sizzle. Bliss. Okay? The fact that you can feel any of that says it's there. Right? One of the things I remind people, especially when we talk about hope, is I recently spoke at a Delaware event regarding hope in the LGBTQ community, and so many things came up regarding hope when I asked people, because I was curious. When you think of hope, how do you define it? What is hope to you? What does hope mean to you? Like I asked several people, and of all the people I asked, hope is this, have you seen my hope? Like they described it as this airy-fairy thing that is there. I almost had it. And I said, that's not very empowering. So I said, you know what, since I love to do an acronym, I said, okay, from this point forward, hope is how our power or presence expresses. We could do that with everything else, with joy, bliss, gratitude. We can decide, we can choose to bring that up into our heart space, our head space, our voice space, our service. We can bring it into the present. Does that mean we're going to always feel it? No. Not everybody's hungry right now. Not everybody's hungry right now. Do you want to be hungry all the time? No. Do you want to be full all the time? No. Do you want to be sleepy all the time? No. Do you want to inhale all the time? Sooner or later, the inhale has to become an exhale. We are not supposed to whatever all the time when it comes to this ebb and flow of life. Sadness comes, and that chapter moves on, and then there's joy. And then there's, what is this one? Lilia, look. I don't know what this one is, but oh my goodness, look at how sparkly it is. I'm gonna say that one for this afternoon, right? There's all kinds of things out there for us to experience. Did you know that there are, my numbers might be off, roughly 25,000 species of birds or spiders or 500 sharks and a couple thousand apples? If the infinite, that is, said, and I'm going to anthropomorphize it for a second, I'm going to make an apple. Ka-tow! There's no, excuse me. Cool, I can't make apple pie with this. And I can't make apple cider. We need other kinds of apples. Dude, I gave you one. Deal with it. But rather, the infinite universe said, apple. And then thousands of. And why do just one bird when you could do 50,000 of them? Why would we think that we have to be relegated to one spectrum of living this thing called life? We are that which it is. So ours is to ask. I call it reverse engineering. How do you want to live your life? If I were to sit down with you individually and say, describe the ideal life to me. And once you get past all the, on a beach in Maui, and once we get past all of the physical accoutrements and material things, okay, cool. How does all that stuff make you feel? And we get to, in your ideal life, on an average day, what are some of the emotions that you feel? If you are able to identify those now, then you can step into that now. And the more we step into that now, the more likely we are to co-create all of that other stuff that then supports this. But see, most of us are moving around in such a way where something or someone else is dictating stuff. There's a passage in the Bible, James something or other, where it says, you do not have because you pray amiss. You ask, you don't get because you pray amiss. King James Version. But when you look at the etymology of amiss, because I'm like, what does that mean? You find you pray with the wrong motive. But what is a motive? An intention. Motivation. You're not getting what you want because the motivation is off. Say what? When we know what is motivating us to live, move, and have our beingness in this thing called life, it changes everything else. Not just in our lives. Because if I ask you, can you name someone, this is not audience participation. If I ask you to name someone who was very influential in your life, do you have at least one? If I ask you someone influential that you never met, but you know of them. I never met Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I know who he is. I never met Gandhi. I know who he is. Mother Teresa, I know who she is. I know who they are. Oprah, well, never mind. People. Do you have at least one? This one individual influenced your life? Would you dare to say your life has been influential for others? And then the ripples go, and then they go. See, the thing is, we play small so much that we're not able to live in living color. We're like Dorothy, pre-Technicolor. You know, when she opened the door, it was like, oh my goodness, we're not in Kansas City, but no, you're not. You're in Technicolor now. Dorothy is like, pink. Oh, that's too bright. Oh, look at, that's too many colors. I like my sepia. It's easy to manage. You talking about reds and golds and I don't even know what that thing. Browns. That's easier. So many of us are living like that. We're comfortable with the sepia, but we're not meant to live in sepia. It's an experience, but it's not the truth of our being. The truth of our being is bright. Everything that we describe God to be, we describe God as shining and light and show your light unto the world and don't put it under a basket and don't hide it, don't dim it. Put it up on the mountain and put it in the window and put it up high so others can see it and come unto it and they too, as Marianne Williams said, the more we do this, the more we are vulnerable. We give others permission to be vulnerable. The more we shine, we give permission for them to shine. The more we laugh, they laugh. The more we love, they love. The more we serve, they serve. The more we change and transform, the more the world changes and transforms. But if we're too busy saying, it's too much, it's too much, and it's too big, and I'm afraid. It's too much, and it's too big, and I'm afraid. It's too much, much of that? It's not too much. We are the ones that are making that concept our reality. And we are the ones that can choose otherwise. So if we truly want to do what you want to do, which I would venture to say, you want to be happy. You want to be healthy. You want to feel love, give love. You want to serve, and that's what you want to do. When you boil it all the way down, yeah, you want to go on a vacation, but you want to go on a vacation because of what you're going to feel. When we really know what that is, and we realize that we deserve it, I don't care what you have done in your life that you feel like you are undeserving and unworthy of. It's a lie that the collective consciousness has convinced us that unless you A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you do not deserve to be loved, you do not deserve to be accepted, you do not deserve. Our culture and society says if you weren't born here, you don't. If you don't this, you don't. If you're Jewish, then if you're this, if you're brown skinned, if you're an indigenous woman, then our culture and society built upon lies convinces us that we're not worthy. And everything in Unity, everything in New Thought says, face that lie and do what Yeshua did in the desert. Get thee behind me, Satan. Satan being the etymology being the liar, the deceiver, the deceptive thoughts and ideas, the deceptive indoctrination and conditioning. Get thee behind me where you belong. Because my truth, my vision, my living out loud boldly is that way. That's our invitation. Breathe. So we enter into this space where the breath, the Ruach Elohim, the breath that is God, breathes itself as us. The rise and fall of the chest and the abdomen, yin, yang. This divine balance, this divine invitation to be more authentically divine, to be more authentically joyful, peaceful, grateful, Godful. Breathe. At any moment during the day that we reconnect with the breath, we can be reminded, in this moment I choose who I am being, what I am being, and I allow the I amness, the beingness, to express as my doing. This breath, I am gratitude, I am being grateful, and I do things of service that demonstrate it. At any moment during the day, breathe, connect, remember, I am that which is ever becoming more of itself as me, and it's good. And so it is. Breathe that in. Your soul, the very essence of your being, is welcome here. Are you getting the message loud and clear? Your soul, your divine being, that which is the universe incarnating in, through, and as you right now. Love as you right now. Divine wisdom as you right now. Peace, power, prosperity, all of that which the universe is incarnating in, through, and as you. That is the message we are invited to get loud and clear. That is the message we are invited to embody. So that when this thing we call our Sunday service comes to a close, the way we go out into the rest of the world, we bring this service to them. We bring this love to them. We bring this peace to them. We bring all that unity offers and teaches us to the world. And as a result of our lives, as a result of our impact, as a result of our soul and our message, peace on earth, goodwill to all, a world that works for all, loud and clear. And so it is.
Yes.